Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Awhobiwom and thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time, you're welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, you already know the drill. Thank you for coming back again to see another video. So guys, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about studying in Sweden. So as you know, in my past videos, my younger brother has recently moved to Sweden for studying, and I've decided to make a video about it to give you all the information when it comes to how to apply for school, your visa process, and every other thing about studying in Sweden. So that is what this video is going to focus on today. So without talking too much, let's jump into the gist for today. So the first part that we're going to start with today is actually the application process. So to study in Sweden, the applications would normally open from October. So I'm making this video right now because from next week, so as at the time you're watching this video, from next week, October 16th, most applications are going to start. So now the good thing about it is when the applications open in October, they span all the way to May. So you have a long time to be able to gather all your documents and also save money so that you can make the decision to actually start studying in Sweden. Now, if you apply by October up until May, school would officially start in September. That's when school will start for your academic session. The requirements to study in Sweden entails your WAEC result, your transcripts, your NECO result. So if you don't have a WAEC result, you can also use your NECO result. So your WAEC results or your NECO result, your transcripts, your certificates from your bachelor's degree, that is if you're going in for the master's option, and you also require a motivational letter. Now the motivational letter is optional, but it helps to strengthen your application. Another thing that you can add to your application that will also give you an advantage is also to add a resume. So you can write a resume as well. You would also require your academic references. So this can be gotten from your past teachers. So maybe your lecturers can write you a reference letter just confirming that you went to this university and you're capable of taking on a master's degree or whatever program it is you're applying for. So this is also a requirement. And then the last requirement is your application fee. Now there is a fixed application fee across every university in Sweden when you're applying, and that application fee is 900 Swedish krona, and you can pay this with your Nigerian MasterCard. Like you can. No, let me not vouch for Nigeria. I don't sure for Nigeria. I'm not sure. Now, the application fee is 900 Swedish krona. So this is the amount of money that you can use to pay for the application fee. So these are all the requirements. These are the only requirements that you need for the application. So once you go on the website, the Study in Sweden, www.studyinsweden.se, you can be able to choose the course that you want, and in the particular university, like I mentioned, you can filter it out based on either the university itself or the course that you're looking for. You will get all the details like the installment payments and also the full tuition and every other detail you need to know about the course and the university. So what I found out when it comes to fees is that I've seen fees as low as 120,000 SEK, that is the krona, 120,000 krona, and with the first installment payment being about 50,000 kronas. I'm going to convert it to naira and also in euros on the screen, so you would get the exact conversion rates on the screen. So you just go ahead and apply directly from there, and it will redirect you to the place where you can put in all your details and start uploading your documents. Now you can do this application by yourself, of course. So when you check the course, when you get the course that you want, you go ahead and apply, you pay the application fee, upload all your documents, and then you wait. You get a response, you get a confirmation stating that they have received your application and they would process it. Now, some courses require an interview. So if you, for example, you're changing from one field to another, most likely you might require an interview just so that they are sure that you can actually make that switch. That's if you're doing for your master's. If it's for bachelor's, I don't think that is required. So when you're done with the whole process, you'd have to wait, after which you would get a notification stating that you've either been accepted or you've been rejected. Most likely you've been accepted if you do the right thing and you meet the requirement. So you get the confirmation stating that you have gotten the admission. Now, the funny thing is with the admission letters, they can be a bit tricky. when I got, for my younger brother, when we got the admission letter, I was a bit skeptical because I thought, if like, I started to question if it was real or not. But do not worry, there's a particular format it comes in. I will put it on the screen so that you can see what it looks like. It might not even have the school logo, so you might even start to wonder, is this thing legit? It's actually legit so far as it's coming from the school directly. So do not worry at all. So once you get that, you get your admission letter, the next step is you would get all the payment information on how to pay your fees, on how to pay your tuition fee. You will get it in your admission letter. So you need to proceed to pay your fees. So once you pay your fees, you would, now if you're paying from Nigeria, it would most definitely take you longer time to pay because of the whole process when it comes to making international payments from Nigeria. But of course, you can also find someone abroad to make these payments for you. Now, some of the advantages of studying in Sweden, because you might ask me, why should we be going to Sweden? Now, the thing is, in recent times, if you live in Nigeria or if you basically live in West Africa, you would notice that a lot of people are moving to the UK. And now the UK is an expensive route for studying, to be very honest with you. The fees are very high. I'm not discouraging anyone from going there, but I'm just saying if you're looking for something less, you can also check out Sweden. Like, when in comparison to the UK, Sweden is a cheaper option. Of course, Sweden might be more expensive than studying in Poland, but we already know the issues with Poland embassy, so please stick to the Sweden. That's what we're talking about in this video. So for studying in Sweden, some of the advantages, like I mentioned, first of all, Sweden is in the Schengen area. So the moment you get your residence card, you know that you have access to all 26 countries in the Schengen region. So that's one big major advantage. The next advantage is the fact that in Sweden, you also have the post-study stay. So the moment you're done with school, you can apply for a job seeker a job seeker residence permit, which is valid for 1 year, and you would use this to find a job. The third, and this is like the beautiful part when we are comparing it to the UK, is the fact that in Sweden you can actually relocate with your family members. So you can relocate with your husband, your wife, your children, or your common law partner. So when you're applying as a student, you can bring your family along with you to Sweden. So that is one good part about studying in Sweden. Another thing is, of course, when it comes to the workforce there are available jobs to both students and people who have experiences. Like I have mentioned multiple times on this channel, you have to go online, make sure you use Glassdoor, LinkedIn, try to see the kind of jobs that are available in a particular country before you make a move to go there. So you can check that out as well. So that is another big advantage. And the last advantage is that there is a 30% scholarship that is available to international students. And there's also another scholarship called the SI scholarship for international students. Of course, you can check them out, and that way your tuition fee is drastically reduced. These are some of the advantages for studying in Sweden. Now, on to the next topic, which is the visa processing. So after you have gotten your admission and you've proceeded to pay your school fee, you're going to get a confirmation from the school. Like I said, it might take some time, but you would get a confirmation. The school would have to confirm that we have received the money. Now, once that is done, you immediately go on the website to start applying for your visa. Now, the thing about Sweden is, when you're applying for a visa, you're not necessarily getting a visa, you're getting your residence permit. That's the sweet part. So when you are going into the embassy, the Swedish embassy back in your home country to apply for a visa, what you're actually applying for is a residence permit. So you would be traveling with your residence permit. It will be sent from Sweden to your respective country where you're doing the application from, and then you can use this residence card to travel into Sweden. So the visa process is basically a residence permit process. Now, how do you go about it? What you need to do is, like I said, you've gotten your admission and you've paid your tuition. The next thing to do is to go to the migration agency website. This is www.migrationvecat.se. So this is like the migration agency website where you would put in an application. So basically, you're going to put in your international passport details. Make sure that your international passport is valid for more than the period of time of your studies. So you'd have to put these details. You would put your personal information, of course, and you would put your work history. You would put the admission letter that you have gotten. You would also put a confirmation of the tuition payment on the website. So you put all these details. Now when it comes to your health insurance, now most of the schools, when you're applying together with your school fee, they have a coverage for you, so you don't have to do any health insurance. Like in my brother's case, we already had that covered from his university, and some other universities I've checked, they also have that covering. So you might not need an insurance document, you just need the documents that you're given, the school has provided to you, that you would add them, that you have them. Now the big one is the proof of funds. Now this one is very big, and you have to be very attentive, because most times when people are denied visa is most likely because they did not fill something correctly, or their proof of funds was done wrong. So please, let me come close to you. Please pay attention to the proof of funds part. Now the proof of funds, first and foremost, the money should be in the student's account. We are not talking sponsorship here. We're not, even if it's your parents, your uncle, your grandfather that is sponsoring your education, the money has to be in your account if you're the one coming to school. So that's step one. The person needs to send that money to your account. Now step two, how much money should this be? The Swedish government has calculated that you should have a total of 8,694 krona per month. That is supposed to be your monthly expense. So if you're doing a program of 1 year, you know that you're multiplying that by 12. Most of the time they give you your visa, they give you your residence permit for 1 year. So 1 year is the ideal amount. So I would say you should just stick within the budget of, because if you do the maths, the 8,694 times 12 might give you, it will give you like 110, but to be on the safe side, I would say maybe do 111 or 112 krona. That's how much should be in your proof of funds. When that is converted to naira, I don't know how much that is at the current exchange rate, but when we were doing for my brother, we used 8 million naira. That was what was in the account, showing that he had this money to cover him for the 1 year. Now the other thing is, it's just a statement. We're not talking about history. This is a statement. So you just need to go to your bank, ask them to give you a statement. A bank statement is just simply a document that has this person, they put your name, with this account number, they put the account number, has this amount of money, they put the amount of money, in our bank, they put it, and they stamp it. It's on a letter-headed paper. This is what can pass off as your proof of funds. Now, if you have a dependent, so a situation where you're bringing in a husband or a spouse, common law partner, you can also bring in your common law partner. Let's say that you guys are not married, but you are living together. This can work, but you are going to have to prove that relationship. Even when people are married, you have to prove that relationship. So if you are bringing a dependent, so either a child or a partner, what is required is, for proof of funds, you need to add an extra amount of money for the people that you're coming with, right? So I'm just going to look at the paper here because I don't want to mix any numbers. So in that case, when it comes to family, for your partner, this, apart from your own money, the one I already mentioned, the 8,694 krona per person, plus an extra partner, you would add 3,622.50 kronas per month. That's for that one person. If you're adding a child, that, remember, the one person I just mentioned is a spouse or a partner. Now, if you're adding a child, you're going to add an extra 2,173.50 krona. So for a family of two, that's a student and the partner, the total money that we are going to be working with. Hold on, let me bring calculator. So in that situation, I've mentioned 3,622.50 for your partner. So times 12, this is 43,000. So if I add it to the 111,000 that I said we should keep aside, this is about 1,154, sorry. My math is not mathing. So this is about 154,000. So let's just round it up and say 160 SEK. So 160 SEK as at the standard rate for today. So this is SEK to NGN. So we're working with 160K. Okay, so that's about 6 point something million for two people, but it's best to have more. Like I told you, my brother's case, we used 8 million for one person. So if people are two, Why not make it 10 or 12 million? That way it looks like you people are serious, right? So you can do that. If a child is involved, you have to add the extra money I had spoken for the child. So that is that about proof of funds. Now back to other parts of the visa part. Now the other part of the visa part is when it comes to your dependents, you also have to put, as you're applying for yourself, you have to put their own documents as well. So some things that you put for them, you would have to include their international passport. You would also now include your marriage certificate. That's if you people are married, or if you're common law partners, meaning you're just living together, you're cohabiting, you're not married. You guys need to put a document. You need to upload a document that shows the both of you having joint ownership, either of a property or paying rent together, but you have to show something that you people live together. So that is that. Then if you want to have your children, you're going to have to upload all their birth certificates, and their birth certificates must carry both your name and the name of your partner. Now in a situation where it's just mother and child, or father and child that want to move to Sweden for studies, in that case you also have to add a consent of the other parents. So it's not a situation of you are taking someone's child away from their other parents. So there's going to have to be a consent letter from the second parent of that child that you're taking to Sweden with you for studies. If this child was also adopted, you just need to put your adoption papers that this child was adopted. So this is how to add their own documents amongst other documents that we've stated. So after all your documents are uploaded, you would have to pay a visa fee. Now the visa fee for processing is 1,500 krona. So this is the money you would have to pay it on the, like, it will give you a payment platform. You would have to pay it online. Now once all of this is done, once you filled everything on this migration agency website, you click, you have to review everything, guys. Take your time, review everything, review that you've added everything properly, and then you click on your submit. Now once you submit the document, you should get an email saying that the Swedish Migration Agency has received your supplement, and then you would get a control number. So you're going to have that confirmation stating that they have received it, and they will give you what is called a control number. You have to hold on to that control number because this control number is very important to process your visa to the next stage. So once that is done, the next thing that you have to do is you need to send an email to the Swedish Embassy in Nigeria via their email address. I'm going to put their details on this other side of the screen so that you will see. So what will happen is you would go ahead and send them an email. So basically the email has your details, so your passport number, and of course you title it accordingly, and of course your control number. So basically what you are doing is you're asking them for an appointment. That's what you're asking them. Once that is done, they usually take about 1 week to reply you. So the embassy then replies you with details on when your visa appointment is scheduled for. So what happens is you will get that email, and then you start to prepare ahead for that visa interview. Now your school works actively with the migration agency and the visa process, like, because your school would also have to give a confirmation to them that they know you are a student. That one you don't really have control of. That is your school that is responsible for that part of the process. So your own process is to register and then to go and get a visa interview. Your school will do the rest on their end and communicate with the migration agency that they know you and all of that. Once you get a date, on a day of your visa interviews, now some people do not have interviews while some people have interviews. You really cannot tell who has and who does not have. So basically you go there for your biometrics. Now your biometrics is just for them to take a picture. That's your passport. You're going to sign your signature and also your thumbprints. They are going to take all of those information from you when you get to the embassy. Then they would ask you questions. That's if you're doing the interview. Basically, my brother did the interview, so I'm going to tell you some of the questions they asked him. So some of the questions that were asked were, who are you coming to Sweden with? If you're coming to Sweden with someone, you have to say who you're coming to Sweden with. You have to say who they are to you. What is the relationship with them? Your proof of funds. They'll ask you, how are you able to finance your studies? You just have to say your parents or whosoever is sponsoring the trip. They are the ones that are sponsoring your whatever. They are the ones sponsoring your education. They would also ask you some questions about your family. They can ask you who is going to come and visit you in your time in Sweden. You said you had, how many siblings do you have? When were they born? stuff like that. Like my brother, they asked him when my mother was born, they asked him when all of us were born, they asked him where all of us are. So these are the kind of questions they ask you. Then they ask you about the school as well. What course did you apply for? What school? How did you find out about this school? Why did you choose this school? And stuff like that. So those are just the questions they ask you in your interview. Once that is done, you go. That's it. That's it. Now you wait. Within 1 to 2 weeks, you would get an email. Now, if you get a positive response, the email is going to come stating your case has been settled, your application is granted. So this is how you know that you've gotten a positive feedback from the visa. But what happens is when you get that within 1 to 2 weeks, you'd also have to wait another 3 weeks, because it takes them 3 weeks to ship your residence card all the way from Sweden to Nigeria or to wherever you're applying to. So far as it's outside of Sweden, it takes about 3 weeks for them to send the card to the address that you had provided in your documents. That's why it's very important to put a working address, or they'll send it to the embassy, and then you go and pick it up. Any of that, it works. So, but if your visa is denied, you would also get an email from them asking you to come to the embassy to come and collect your results. If that is the case, if you don't get your case settled, just know that is a visa denial, and you can appeal, of course. My brother didn't go through that process, so I just pray that you don't go through that process, so we don't have to start revisiting or start looking for solutions to that. But as it is with any other country, when you're denied visa, you can appeal. You just need to give them the proper documents and just try to do the application all over again. So that is that about that. Once that is done, 3 weeks later, you will get the confirmation to come and pick up your card. You will pick up your residence card, and with your residence card, you can book your flight, and then you can come to Sweden. Now, I would have, like, there are more details, of course, about living in Sweden, but I'm not going to put that burden on myself. I'm just going to give you easy peasy where you can go to find every information about studying in Sweden. I have a friend here on YouTube. His name is Simeon. You can go on his YouTube channel. I'll put it on the screen and also in the description. Please go there, subscribe. He has different information there on how to renew your residence permit and all of that stuff. So you can go and subscribe to his channel and watch his other videos as well. And just any question you have about Sweden, dears, don't ask me. Go to Simeon and ask him. So this is shout out to Simeon. He's doing an amazing job on YouTube. Please go there, subscribe to his channel, and just enjoy yourself. So guys, that is that about this video. This was a long one. I just hope that this has been able to clear your doubts and answer your questions. If you have any other questions, of course, feel free to write in the comment section and I will answer the ones that I can answer. If not, I would leave it to Simon to continue from there. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. Do not forget to like, share, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.